And I believe we should be officially live streaming into the Creative Brand Framework Facebook group. And yes, we are now live. What's going on, Facebook group? Today we have an extra special guest, a good friend of mine, longtime friend of mine, Mr. Mike Rama of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, currently in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Fellow digital entrepreneur, TikTok expert, influencer marketing expert, ex-affiliate marketer, probably current affiliate marketer as well. What's going on, Mike? How you doing, man?
What is up? What's going on, Facebook? I'm live on TikTok too. Sorry, I'm still setting up my little tripod and everything. But yeah, I'm doing well, Brad. How are you down in Mexico?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I just locked in another month back where we used to live in Palmares with my business partner, Nina. So I will be here in Mexico for the foreseeable future.
Love to hear that. Love to hear that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to get back out of the country again pretty soon.
So, all right, let's start it off with this way. First of all, I think some of my audience knows you. Obviously, you came into this group when it first got started. I think I had maybe 200 people in this group when you and I were living together and really just kind of getting our businesses, turning our businesses from like ideas into actual businesses. Obviously, since then, we've both seen unbelievable amounts of growth personally and from the business perspective as well. But for the newer people in my group who have no idea who you are, just tell us a little bit about, who you are, your story, what you do, kind of how you got here and things like that.
Yeah, so I guess I'll kick this off. We'll rewind a few years. I guess we'll take it back to 2017. I graduated college, went down the traditional four-year path, studied math, economics, computer science, got a job right out of school, living in New York City. Just started going down the corporate path. Like this was always like my dream route, right? I was going to work for some big tech company. So on the data science team, and like that was going to be my life. And then I quickly realized that I didn't enjoy working for a big company. And so meanwhile, I was always trying stuff on the side, right? I was always doing the side hustles, the Shopify stores, the drop shipping, affiliate marketing, right? Like Amazon FBA, you name the side hustle, I probably tried it before. Did that for years, never really had too much success with it, kind of was spinning wheels, a little success here, a little success there. One thing though that I realized is what I enjoyed about each one of those side hustles was like the marketing portion, like loved like growing an Instagram page and doing like influencer shout outs, learning Facebook ads, learning Google ads, YouTube ads. Like I loved the marketing side. Then 2020, COVID hit. I moved out of New York City, moved back to my mom's house, started getting more into affiliate marketing and Facebook ads and YouTube ads as well. Started having some success there. I know, Brad, we had some overlap with the affiliate marketing we were doing. You were doing more on the sales side of things. And then in, what was it, August, September-ish, 2020, we both decided, let's move down to Mexico. I quit my corporate job, started going full-time in digital marketing. We were down in Mexico. And since then, we've kind of both gone like separate paths, but still a ton of overlap. So what I'm doing right now is I have a TikTok marketing agency, primarily doing influencer marketing campaigns, TikTok ads. I still do a little bit of Facebook ads and YouTube ads as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think I wanted to hit a little bit on because we initially, like, this is crazy for me. Like a year ago today, obviously I've been trying to get businesses going for, almost 2 years. I had a drop shipping store similar to you. I had a travel blog that I was trying to get going. A year ago today, I was actually working as a camp counselor, making $10 an hour, having no idea what I was going to do with the future. And it just shows like the progression of how you can go from not knowing what you're doing, failing consistently, to building a business in a short period of time if you surround yourself with the right people, if you put yourself in the right environment. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, obviously we have been friends for a while, but kind of that initial first, really the first 6 months period when we moved in together. Obviously we lived together for a little while. We lived separately for a little while as well, but the power of us as both friends and having a business relationship, the power of being surrounded by the right people, I know for me was tremendously beneficial. And for someone watching, I mean, what would you say to someone about, having an accountability partner, having someone who's going through a similar process, building a business, and the importance of that?
Yeah, so cannot stress that enough, like how important environment is, and then also surrounding yourself with people who have similar goals to you. So yeah, Brad, when we both moved to Mexico together, like we also started kind of finding some friends as well who had similar goals. There was a very like entrepreneurial spirit in the town that we were in, and you don't really realize it while you're in it, how much your environment has an impact on you, especially if you're someone who doesn't change environments often. But when you start changing your environment, you see how much of an impact that it has on you. So like a couple of things that are coming to mind right now is when I moved back from Mexico, like the first week, I was just back at my mom's house, and I realized like I started slipping back into old habits because I was now back in an old environment. So like it can go both ways. Like, so like when we both moved to Mexico, we moved in with each other. We started picking up better habits, kind of keeping each other accountable. I developed like a much more strict morning routine, and you start to associate the things that you do with your environment. And what I'm seeing now is like coming back to the US, and the first couple of weeks back here, I was back at my mom's house, and I'm seeing like, wow, am I like starting to like relapse back into old habits? So right now I'm in an Airbnb in Philly because I wanted to switch up environment again. Because when you change your environment, you have now a completely new set of routines, right? You're not going to the same coffee shop every day, sitting at the same desk, talking with the same people. So when you change your environment, it kind of gives you a lot more possibilities with how you can change your routine, change your habits, which is going to ultimately change the outcomes in your life.
Yeah, 100%. And for the people in the comments watching on TikTok or in the Facebook group, let us know if you have questions or comments. Obviously, a lot of what I've learned from digital marketing comes from like us just growing together as individuals and independent business owners as well. So if you have any specific questions, definitely ask. So I want to know a little bit more about specifically what you're doing now. Obviously, you were doing affiliate marketing, you were running Facebook ads, you've run YouTube ads in the past. Obviously, now you have your agency, you have a bunch of clients with your agency. Could you speak a little bit about, what you do now, who you help now, and the transformation that you're providing to your clients?
Yep. So great question. And I got a couple of questions on TikTok Live too that I'm going to tie into this. A couple of people in here just said they're just starting TikTok pages now. Like, what's your biggest tip? And I think this will tie into your question, Brad, around what I do. So when you're just getting started out in this world, I think it's really important not to think about, okay, what am I going to sell? Like, what's the thing that I'm going to sell? You really want to start with, who do I want to help? That's where you start, and then you figure things out. So that's, I think, is a big problem for a lot of people on TikTok, is they'll get on TikTok to try to sell something, right? It's like, oh, I have this product, I want to sell it, I'm going to get on TikTok. But now tying this into what I do, Brad. So I help business owners who are interested in TikTok. They want to grow on TikTok. They see the power in connecting with other creators, connecting with influencers, and they want to use that to help build their brand. These are the people that I help. And I do that through a couple different solutions. So we can run TikTok ads. We can do influencer marketing campaigns. For one of my clients, I'm helping them to find someone to just fully run their TikTok account. So I like to kind of preface this question for anyone who's getting started. I know I have some people watching that are just getting started with TikTok accounts, is figure out who you want to help and how you can give value to that audience, and then figure everything else out as you go.
Yeah, 100%. And it's funny looking back. Like I remember I was initially we got on TikTok because I was actually on a sales call and a middle-aged corporate office worker was like, "Hey, you guys doing affiliate marketing on TikTok?" And I was like, we don't do affiliate marketing on TikTok. That's for kids." And this was like November. And then your sister, Lexi, was like, "Hey, you guys should do stuff on TikTok." And we were like, I don't know. And then I jumped the gun. This was in November and I started making TikToks and I got into it. I started to grow. And then I was like, yeah, I'm going to decline you on that because I think it'll like mess up if we both go live together.
Gotcha.
But initially, like I got on there and I was like, yo, dude, you got to get on TikTok. You got to get on TikTok. And then eventually like you got on it. And now like, I think we've had this conversation before, like our first million will be coming from TikTok, which is insane to think like how powerful the platform is. So could you speak to why TikTok is so powerful and how it's different from every other platform as far as providing value and the ability for that virality and really personal branding as well?
Yeah, so for everyone who's like just getting started on TikTok or thinking about it, I know a lot of people always think like, oh, it's too late. Like I already missed the boat. But when you compare TikTok to all other platforms right now, like the organic reach is crazy. You know, the fact that you and I combined almost have, 100,000 followers from only a few months of doing this is insane, right? And that's just like a number on a screen to us right now. But you think like, okay, that many people follow you, like now just picture, I don't know, how many people go to the Super Bowl every year? I think it's like less than that number. And it's crazy that like that's the audience that you're talking to, like stadiums full of people. So it's like hard to even like wrap your head around that, and how powerful that is. And so not only do you get a message to someone once, but you can continue to deliver value to thousands and thousands and thousands of people over a sustained period of time. And so there's a tremendous amount of value in that. And then especially when you compare it to the other platforms. So just looking at Facebook, looking at Instagram, Snapchat, like the organic reach on TikTok is unmatched. Like you can't get that kind of reach on Facebook. You can't get that reach on Snapchat. Now I know Instagram is trying to get more creators back to the platform. And this is something that you and I are both kind of experimenting with, is just putting all of our TikToks on Instagram Reels and growing an Instagram account. So hopefully we will see a little bit more competition with Instagram, because I think they realized that they're kind of losing the battle to TikTok. And YouTube's the other platform I forgot to mention too, but it's much harder to grow a YouTube account. So out of all the platforms available right now, like I think TikTok has the most opportunity. And I'm kind of backing that up with, where my business has shifted. So Brad, you know this, but I originally started out in the Facebook ads world, right? That's where this digital marketing passion kind of stemmed from. And I think a lot of people get started there because there's a ton of different trainings on Facebook ads. They've been around for a while. It's more of like a legacy service that Facebook has now. But once some of these platforms, they get going for a while, they start to kill off all of the organic reach. So TikTok right now is really like the Wild West. Like it's like Facebook and Instagram, 5-10 years ago. And I'm sure you're seeing, pretty similar results on TikTok as well, just being able to go from 0 to 50,000 followers in a few months.
Yeah, it's totally insane. And there was a point in time when I realized, because I pushed like 4 different products. I pushed a couple different affiliate products, a company we used to work with. I pushed a program called Legendary Marketer. I pushed my own affiliate course called the Freedom Framework. Now I'm working with Nina Brennan, my partner, pushing the Creative Brand Framework. Quick plug, link in bio if you want to join our cohort. And like what it comes down to is the personal brand is the same, right? Like you initially got on TikTok, you didn't even have anything to sell, right? Like I remember us having these discussions. I was like, bro,
which is where you want to start.
Put an email capture in there so you could get something going. which is crazy about it. You just grow and like your business becomes whatever content you put out. And if you would have said 6 months ago, I'm going to have an influencer marketing agency that's built around TikTok, you would have been like, no fucking way. That's not going to happen. But that's what's happening right now, which is crazy about this platform.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Like you start to put content out there, and if you're consistent with it and you have a clear picture of like who is that person on the other side of the screen that you want to help, the algorithm will find that person, right? It'll take some time, but if you deliver high quality content and you do that over a sustained period of time and you're clear with like who the person is that you're trying to help, the algorithm will find that person eventually. And even if, that person changes, I know, Brad, I guess we can talk about this a little, but I know you mentioned that like you're kind of changing target audiences and like, how do you deal with that? But even in that case, like TikTok is still one of the most powerful platforms out there to just get a message across to someone.
Yeah, 100%. And I've had this conversation obviously with you, with people in my community as well, because my target audience is changing, and I will and am seeing a little bit of dip in reach, but I'm trying to lose some of those low hanging fruit, for lack of a better word, people, and elevate to work with higher level clients who have areas of expertise or skills, and TikTok will allow that, right? And something that I was talking actually to Daryl Gray, I think you know Daryl Gray, I was talking to him yesterday about this. He's like, when you put out content, you just know that Brad's going to provide value, right? And I say the same thing for him, right? If I see content from Daryl or from you, it's just like, oh, this guy's going to provide value. And if you just get out there on a platform and you just provide value over time, that will turn into business. And if you know the back end digital marketing systems and how to put things together, that can monetize quickly and at scale with speed if you know what you're doing by providing value and not trying to sell things, right? This is the biggest mistake I see people make, especially new affiliate marketers. They try to sell. Don't sell. Provide value. Explain how you can take someone through a transformation and make yourself valuable and a figure of authority. And whatever that is will turn into a business. I know my business has changed many, many times. Your business has changed and adjusted and likely will continue to change and adjust into the future.
Yeah.
And that's what's really exciting about a platform like TikTok and even repurposing the IG Reels, where you don't have to come in and say, this is my business. Your business can change over time dependent upon what the market is telling you that they want. And that's what's really cool about building a personal brand and being a creator.
Yeah. So, Brad, this is actually super relevant for you. I have a question in my chat, and my sister actually is going through something similar as well. So someone here mentioned, I started an account, created a bunch of videos, haven't had any great reach, and I need to change my strategy. Do you think I should get a new account? And I'll preface this with a couple things. So my sister also, she has a TikTok account. It's not big. She's grown it a little bit. But now she wants to start pushing her art out there, right? She's going to start showing her artwork. And she's like, oh, should I get a new account? And I know you, similarly, you think you kind of have a new target audience. And I know you kicked around the idea of like, should I start fresh? Should I start a new audience? Wondering if you could talk a little bit about that and what your thoughts are.
Well, it depends. And I've had this conversation with a couple of my clients and obviously myself as well. So the first thing is, for me, I have an audience of like 50 to 55,000 followers on TikTok. I'm not giving up that audience. There's way too much value there.
Right.
If you have 1,000 followers on TikTok and you're completely switching niches, if you're selling women's healthcare products and now you're going to start selling fitness equipment, like, yeah, you should create an entirely different account.
Right.
But just a quick adjustment, you don't need to make a new account, or you need to look inward. And this is just a forward direct answer. Your content might just not be good enough, right? You might just want to focus on making higher quality content. Something that I always say to my clients too is never make 2 TikTok accounts in the same niche. There's nothing wrong with making 2 separate TikTok accounts, but if you're doing one account in the make money online niche, selling one affiliate program, and another account in the Make Money Online niche selling another affiliate program, that's a terrible way to do it because you have a split brand, split messaging, and you're confusing your audience. But if you have two separate businesses in two different niches, there may be value in doing that. So I guess if there's a follow-up question there, it would be, why don't you think your account is growing effectively? One, and two, if you're pivoting, what are you pivoting to? Because those are really, really important.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, just summing that up, basically, for anyone who's thinking about restarting their account, the things you have to consider are, one, how many followers do you have? If you already have a huge following, then it might not make sense to create a new account. So if your account's small and you're completely changing your strategy, then yes, maybe it does make sense to create a new account.
Did you ever consider making a new account?
No, never considered it, because I kind of went in like you mentioned before. Like when I first started my account, I was just on there. Like I didn't even have a link up there. I was just like, all right, I'm going to talk marketing, and like my strategy has never really changed. I still just talk digital marketing. Like before, I might have talked a little bit more Facebook ads, but like, it's still the same audience is that hasn't changed. So I think if your like audience is staying the same, then yeah, there's no need. Another thing that's come up recently, some people have asked this in my Facebook group, but the potential of having multiple accounts and what that does. So someone brought to my attention that if you have more than one TikTok account, then TikTok will basically view you as a business, and they might limit your reach. Now, I haven't really done too much research on that, or I haven't seen any data that would support that. But I've seen a couple articles that say that. I haven't seen like too many concrete sources or tests. Wondered if you have heard anything of that as well, or even if that's true, that like a business account might not get as much reach as a creator account. Like, do you know that to be true or not? It kind of seems like it's like a rumor that's out there.
There's so many rumors out there.
Yeah.
I have heard that you want to have a creator account, but then again, TikTok sent me a message saying like, hey, we want you to switch to a business account.
I got that same message. Yeah.
You got that message too?
Yeah.
So I don't know what that is. I know one of my clients, Justin, is working with someone who's he goes by the Ginger Marketer. He's got like 350K. He's got like ins on TikTok corporate, so he knows like some of that stuff. And nothing is coming to the top of my head, but some of those things that we thought were initially true aren't actually relevant. Like deleting a video, like you can and should delete a video if it doesn't perform well, because you might be mistargeting an audience, where previously I thought if you delete a video, that's going to ding your account. So just kind of those little tips and tricks. Things like all the text in your video, actually, like if you're doing captions, that type of stuff will help push towards the right people in the algorithm as well. So the thing about TikTok is it changes so fast. It's hard to keep up to date with things. But I think, and I'll stand firmly on this, you should never have two accounts unless they're completely in two different niches and you're selling two different products. I think one, the creativity alone required to create good quality TikTok content is exhausting, is not the word, but it can be difficult to do, right? And you and I've talked a lot about the word resistance from the book, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, which is an awesome book for any creator. But there's always this resistance that you face when you're creating content. So by saying, I'm going to make three to five a day on this account, 3 to 5 a day on this account, that's a lot of creative energy that you need to bring in two different niches. And likely what will happen, unless you're just a master creator, is both accounts, the quality will decrease overall. So I think focusing on one is really the way to go.
Yeah, Brad, question for you. I know this is like a pretty big focus for you, and I think a lot of people watching on my end on TikTok will get some value out of this. But you've been looking to kind of diversify a little bit off of TikTok, and I know you're working on growing the Instagram account, you're growing the Facebook page, the YouTube channel. What's it been like trying to create content for all different platforms. I know you like reuse a lot of content as well, but would you recommend that for someone just starting out, or would you recommend, hey, go all in on one platform till you get to a certain point and then start to spread out? Or would you recommend from the beginning, hey, go omnipresence right from the start? What's your perspective on that?
Yeah, so here's what I'm doing now, and this is my goal eventually is to not even need TikTok as a source of leads. Although I do use it as a source of leads really for my email list, almost all the money that I make comes from my Facebook group. And my Facebook group right now is like less than 800 people, and it monetizes very, very well. So that's where really the power of my business is. But I think you should do this. If you're just starting, get on TikTok, start creating content on TikTok. Then from there, simply repurpose that, post it to IG Reels, repurpose that, post it to Pinterest. That's what I do. It literally takes probably 5 minutes a day.
Quick pause. Have you seen any performance from Pinterest? I know the last time we spoke, you said you were going to test it out. What has that result been like? And then continue with the rest.
Yeah. So I've grown the Pinterest account to about 25,000 monthly viewers in about two weeks. So like I pulled them from Pinterest. I have one board. I know you and I, we have a mutual acquaintance, Joanne, who brands herself the Pinterest queen.
Yeah.
But like I had a lot of struggles like hiring people to do Pinterest, all these boards, all these pins, all this stuff. Video on Pinterest works. I get thousands of views on posts. I've been able to grow that thing to 25K a month in like 2 weeks. So there's a lot of value there. And I've tested it as well. They're turning into link clicks as well. Not at a mass scale yet. Like I'm getting a couple link clicks a day. But over the course of 3 to 6 months, that could end up being hundreds of link clicks a day simply by doing the classic strip it from TikTok, snap app, pull the watermark, put it on Pinterest one board, and then expand from there. So there's a lot of value there. But just to loop back to that question, and then we can talk about Pinterest in a second. Start on TikTok. You have to start on TikTok. If you're afraid to get in front of the camera, push into that fear, because that's the most important thing. I know you and I spent hundreds of hours shooting YouTube ads, shooting YouTube videos, trying to get TikToks. We were in the nitty gritty trying to figure out how to be camera facing people. And now we both have Facebook groups, we put out content, we have YouTube channels, all that. A year ago, both you and I were afraid to do anything like that. I've built a course, I'm building my second course. You've built an online course as well. So that first thing, get on TikTok. It's the easiest place to start putting out content. Then start repurposing to IG Reels, because I think that's going to keep growing. And I think you would agree with me with that. They're pushing IG Reels. Repurpose on Pinterest, then move to something like a YouTube channel. I also think the value of a Facebook group is huge. And I've been pushing you to do a Facebook group for a while. And now I know you have one because you have a community, right? And when you're building a personal brand, which is what you're doing, although you have an agency, and you'll probably be more removed from your business than I will be in the future, the value of having a community is tremendous, because a lot of the strength of my community is people meet each other in my community, and I am the one who's the leader. And it's like, oh, I know you because we're both in Brad's group. And then they all come to me, and I'm viewed as the figure of authority and the leader in my group. So there's so much value there. But to wind it up, TikTok, Instagram Reels, Pinterest, YouTube channel, Facebook group, I think that's really what you need to do. Don't do it all at once. Start on TikTok and then diversify from there.
Yep, I like that strategy as well. And I'm getting a couple of questions here too around, how often to post. Someone asked 1 video a day, 3 videos a day, 5 videos a day. And what I'll say to that is post as much as you can that you're still posting high quality content. So like the more videos you post, the better, but I get it. There's going to be limitations, right? You might not be able to post 5 videos every day, and you don't want to sacrifice the quality of your videos just to blast something out there. Like I used to think that was the best strategy. It was like, let's just send out as much as possible. But the more I'm on TikTok, the more I'm kind of seeing like, okay, maybe it's better for me to post 2 a day if they're like super high quality than it is for me to post 5 that I'm just like, I just rip them real quick. So to anyone getting started who's wondering how much do I need to post, the more the better, but make sure that they are quality. And someone also asked, who are we listening to? What's his name? Brad, what's your TikTok account? I'm gonna drop a comment.
My TikTok account is Brad Schildkraut. Maybe you can put that in the chat.
I got it.
BRADSHILDKROUT. It's also Brad S Digital Marketing. You'll be able to find me somewhere. I have a unique last name, so.
I got you. I dropped you in the group.
All right, cool. Something else I wanted to talk about for you. So I've been saying this for you. I was like, bro, you're gonna get to 100K probably by September, October. You're at like what, 30K right now followers?
I was at 29.9K before I went live, and I'm assuming I'm probably at 30K right now. It's something I'm pushing a lot of my followers to do is start going live. Like when you go live on TikTok, they push your content. Yeah, someone just said I just saw you got 300K. So we got someone confirming in the comments.
30K. There you go. That's awesome. And yeah, I remember because I started like I just put out a video like this. Your growth rate is going to be like this. Boom, and then nothing. Boom, nothing. Boom, nothing. Boom, nothing. And your growth started a lot slower than mine, but you are going to surpass me in followers soon because your account is growing so much faster. Your engagement is much better than mine. So why do you think that over the last, really, it's been a month or so, why do you think your engagement has been so high? Your view count's been so high and you've seen so much growth?
Wow, that's a great question. A couple of answers, and I think that it has to do with a couple of things. So one, I really don't push any like product or any sales in most of my videos. Like you'll see the majority of my videos, they don't have any call to actions. They don't say, hey, click on the link or like do this. Most of my videos are just, hey, I'm just going to give some marketing tips. I'm just going to give you some value. Here's like something to engage with. Here's something to do. And so just providing that and like not asking people to, hey, come check out my products. Hey, come check out my service. I think people are really attracted to that because there's a ton of videos out there that are just kind of like pitching products, pitching services, and people don't want to be sold to. And so we talked about this earlier, but like I came into TikTok I didn't even have a product. I had nothing to sell. I was like, all right, I'm just going to talk marketing. And I know that like, that's going to be a good long-term strategy. So I think that's one of the big things is I don't really talk too much about like my products or services very much. I just kind of talk value, talk marketing in general. And what happens is people will message me and be like, hey, like I'm interested, like, and they don't even really know like what I'm actually selling or what I'm promoting. So I think that's one reason why I get a lot of engagement. The other thing is I'm pretty clear on who I'm talking to, right? It's kind of two groups of people. One, someone who's growing a TikTok account, just in general, and two, it's the business owner who's on TikTok who's looking to create more sales from their TikTok. So like I have a pretty clear picture of like who my audience is, and I think just sticking with that over a long period of time, that's helped with a lot of the growth, because I think that a lot of my early followers, they're still followers because I'm still talking about the same thing. And I think how TikTok really works is like they'll show your video out to some of your followers, and if you can get those initial followers to engage, then it's going to push it out to even more. So like the more I would say like tight knit your audience is, and the more you can get the followers to engage, the more that's going to like have that snowball effect with the TikTok algorithm to blow it up to more users.
Yeah, I agree. And that's exactly what I've seen in your account as I've been watching kind of from a distance, is like your messaging has been really consistent the entire time, which means you're going to grow slowly, but your growth will be more exponential. Where with my account, I have been pushing multiple products to multiple different people. So yes, I've seen huge spikes, but now I'm seeing decreased views and less engagement because just a couple months ago, 2 months ago, I was, affiliate marketing. Now I don't do, I mean, I do affiliate marketing on the back end of my business, but I'm not an affiliate marketer. I'm pushing personal branding. I'm pushing building back end business systems and digital businesses. So I'm losing some audience, which is good because I don't want those make money online affiliates. And now I'm working my way to gain the newer, higher quality audiences. So I'm in a period of a dip with my account, which is fine and totally to be expected, right?
Mhm.
Whereas you're going to get to 100K really fast because every video you put out gets $1,000, $3,000, $5,000 easily. And I know that TikTok recently made an update, and I feel like every time TikTok makes an update, it's kind of just like them saying the same thing
Always.
again, where it's like, your videos won't hit the For You page unless you have a certain amount of engagement from your existing followers, which is like, I feel like that's always been the case, but they came out and said that too. So it makes it, I don't think it changes anything from a strategic standpoint. But yeah, they're always coming up with some updates. And we have a question on my end from David. What's going on, David? Saw you scheduled a call with me, I think for next week. My experience with TikTok as an addicted viewer is and I think a lot of people are addicted viewers to TikTok.
Oh, yeah. I'm starting to become one.
Is such Sorry, I'll reread that. My experience with TikTok as an addicted viewer is there is such a thing as too many posts. I have people I follow because I like their content, but 15 times a day, I know their content and I skip past it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, if you're posting 15 times a day, to me, I can't see all 15 of those posts being like good, high quality posts. So whereas I was more in the school of like volume over the actual quality. Now I'm kind of in the school of, you want to get a certain standard for your videos and then make as many as you can as long as they're still hitting that standard. So like personally, I try to do 3 a day. Sometimes I don't hit that. Sometimes, I'll post 4, whatever it might be. For everyone, that's going to be different, right? For you, it might be like I can only post 1 a day because I work a full-time job and I have 7 kids. And like, if you can only do 1 a day, then like just do 1 a day. But yeah, I do think that there's a point where like you're posting too much, just because it's going to have to be lower quality. And I wouldn't want to sacrifice the quality just to like put out more. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm in a phase right because I'm pushing this cohort, link in bio, quick plug. Like Nina and I basically have birthed a business in like 2 weeks and we're selling this cohort and it's selling really well. We're about to sell out. But like we're trying to maximize people into the system in a 2-week period. So I've been putting out like 5 to 7. I think today I put out 8. Normally 5 is my number. I'll put out 5 a day. There were times when I put out like 7, 9, 10 a day. And I went for that volume shooter, but something that I'm trying to adjust in my content as I'm, restructuring what I'm doing and further defining my market is just like you're doing, decreasing the amount, increasing the quality of the content, whether that be better lighting, more, whether they're scripted or not, just more high value content. Because I want someone to go on TikTok, see a video and go, man, every time I see something from Brad, that dude just provides value. And I think a lot of people say that for you. So another good place to go with this is, what is your creative process, unless you have questions, but what is your creative process for TikToks? And it's likely changed because mine's changed over time.
Yep. Amazing question. And I want to quickly respond to a comment here. Someone asked, so they're going to try to post 3 times a day. How far apart should they do it? Morning, afternoon, evening? What should that look like? And then I'll go into the creative process. So what I do right now actually is I'll just post all 3 at the same time because TikTok doesn't really seem to have it has kind of like a delayed exposure almost. So what I'll do now is I'll post all 3 at the same time. and then I try to go live afterwards, right? Someone in here even just mentioned like, yeah, the going live is working. I saw you on the For You page. And so what TikTok is doing is they'll basically boost your content if you go live. So I'll post all mine at the same time. And that kind of varies. Sometimes I do it in the morning, sometimes I do it afternoon, sometimes I do it evening. I really haven't noticed like a tremendous difference based on the time, but I do notice a huge difference if I post and then go live, like stuff really takes off. So that's how I would respond to that. And then Brad, you asked, what does my creative process look like? I think this is very important for someone who's trying to grow a TikTok account because it can seem overwhelming to, okay, how am I going to post 3 times a day, right? Like that can seem extremely overwhelming. And Brad, you're even posting more than me, and we're both running a business full time. So this is how I like to do it. First, you're going to want to create a sheet of notes in your phone. I love doing this. So I just have a notes in my phone and it says TikTok ideas. And so what I'll do is every day for 15, 30 minutes, kind of spread throughout the day, I'll kind of just scroll TikTok, right? And I'll get a feel for the new trends that are out there. I'll get a feel for kind of what's going on, right? You'll see like new sounds, new things that are going on TikTok, and I'll take some notes of them, right? So a video might come across my For You page and it's like a certain trend. But the first time you see a trend, you don't really even know it's a trend. And then you scroll through, you see it again, and I'm like, okay, here's a trend that's taking off. I'll copy that video and I will put it in my notes, and then I'll put a little note below it, and I'll be like, do this trend, but use XYZ. So you kind of take the framework that you already see other people using, and then you make it work for your content. So I'll do that every day. Well, I will just like copy and paste videos into my notes to save for later. And so that way, once a week, I do what I call bulk content creating. And so today was actually the day for me. I filmed 25 TikToks. I shot 2 YouTube videos. I'm doing a TikTok live. Like today's my content day. And so I'm able to do all that in one day because today I didn't have to brainstorm any ideas. I didn't sit down and go, okay, I got to make 20 TikToks. Like, what am I going to do? What are my ideas? What I did is I went to my notes and I saw, oh, here's the 30 ideas that I got from this week. I already have the outlines. Now I just have to execute. So throughout the week, I'm finding ideas. I'm copying and pasting them to my notes. I'm writing ideas, writing notes in there. Like sometimes I just like wake up in the middle of the night and you get a TikTok idea. Like I'm sure you have the same thing. Like you're walking down the road and like, boom, the idea pops in your head. And then I'll just put it on my notes. So then I know when it's Friday and I'm doing my content, I can just come back to these ideas. The list is already there and I'm ready to go. One other thing I'll add there too that I like to do is instead of only scrolling through the For You page and seeing what's working, I will go to some people that I follow. I'll just go to their page and I'll just like look at some of their videos and I'll be like 500 views, 2,000 views, 150,000. And then I click on that 150,000 views and I go, okay, why did this get 150,000 views? How can I use this structure for me to see if I can get those same results? And so that's kind of how I go through this, the creative process. What about you? I know, we kind of started out with similar ones. I wonder if yours has changed at all.
Yeah, so mine always changes. So it used to be, and I still do this. I mean, I have that big whiteboard and I'll just write down a bunch of ideas on the whiteboard. Recently, what I've been doing is using Notion. I think you know Notion. Notion is basically like an organizer. And I have a tab in my Notion that just says content ideas. So one of them is YouTube video content ideas. The other one is TikTok content ideas. So literally like you, if I'm walking down the road, if I'm eating, if I'm somewhere, if I'm at the gym and I have an idea, I'll write down the framework of that content idea. Something else that I'll do, like literally today I got lunch, I was walking down the street and I had an idea. I basically shot the video like in TikTok of what I wanted to do, knowing that that wasn't actually going to be the one that I will send, but I'll go back and then remake it in a better setting. And that's really been it. And then as far as trends, I will save sounds. So if there's like a sound trend that's happening, I'll just save it to favorites. And then I'll go into favorites and listen to the sound a couple times. to go to the discovery page and see like, okay, what are people doing with this trend? And then like, oh, this is a good idea, I'll do it. So like my creative process has changed, but I think it's very similar. Where I know some people will just like, they just get it and they just run. But for me, it's very difficult if you go into a session for creating TikToks with a white piece of paper and try to make 20 TikToks. A lot of resistance you're going to face there, and it's going to be really difficult to get yourself to make quality content.
Yeah. Brad, just want to give you an update. I got to hop off in the next probably 5-10 minutes. I have an Uber scheduled for 5:10. I'm heading out of the Airbnb, and I still got to pack a little bit. So we got like 5-10 more minutes if we want to do any final topics here.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. Where are you headed? Back to
So I'm going to my mom's tonight, and then tomorrow morning we're driving up to New York to watch my dad run the Ironman.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, leaving at 6 a.m. tomorrow.
I might shoot him a text actually. Give him a good luck text. All right, let's end it on some. And there was a couple questions, but we'll address those at a later time. Sorry, Jenny and David. Let's talk a little bit about like, and we'll say we'll wrap this in 5 minutes, but just the entrepreneurial journey that you've been on. You know, someone who is struggling to get started. Maybe they're working a job. Maybe they're going through the iterations of failing a business. You know, in and out of the dip, some success, some failure, maybe struggling financially, taking on debt, things like that. What would you say to someone who is really trying to break into the entrepreneurial world, but maybe struggling with the mindset that comes to it?
So I think that I'm going to answer this by kind of going back to a subject that we already touched on. And if you have the ability to change your environment, I know some people don't have that ability, but if you do have the ability, I would highly recommend doing that for the following reasons. So for me, and I think for you as well, it was super important to basically have that switch in your head that says, okay, I'm not trying to do this. Like, I'm not going to like try, but I am doing this. Like, this is now me. This is what I do. And now you're operating at a point of, okay, if I get a roadblock, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get over that challenge and I'm going to move past that, as opposed to, I'm trying to start a business. I'm trying to start a dropshipping store. I'm going to try to start a Shopify store. And then maybe it'll work. Like, oh, this could happen for me. Maybe. Once you flip that switch and you now decide, okay, I am doing this. This is what I do. Then it's just now you're just like, you're going through the motions. And for me, that switch happened when the environment change happened. And it's hard to flip that switch when everything else stays the same. So for me, it was making this drastic life change, moving to Mexico and like flipping that switch. Like, I'm quitting my job. I am doing this. That all happened together. And I think that's really difficult for someone to do who they're still going to the same job. They still have the same routines. They still live in the same place. They eat the same food. They do everything the same. Yet one element of their life, they're trying to make this huge change. It's so difficult to do.
I agree 100%. 100%. And just kind of wrapping this up, and I think this likely happened for both of us at the same time when we said we're moving to Mexico and we're doing this, right? That was the real, well, you quit your job as well. That was probably the big one for you. And then I moved to Thailand, quitting my job. But the real decision was, I'm not trying to build a business. I'm a business owner. And until you tell yourself that, you'll never be a legitimate business owner. If you keep trying, if you keep saying, I want to do this, I'm going to try to do this, I think I can do this, you will likely fail. Once you tell yourself, I am this person, I am doing this, failure is going to come, of course. But I've had a lot of failures, especially in the last 2 months. I've had a lot of things come up in my business and restructuring, even family stuff. But there was zero, I'm looking for the right word, like anything in me that would say I'm quitting.
Yeah,
It's impossible.
there's no turning back. There is no
Doesn't
like,
exist.
there's no
Yeah.
fallback plan. When you give yourself no fallback plan other than to go forward, then that's all there is, right? There's no option. Like for me, when I quit my job, I knew there is no like, oh, if it doesn't work, like at least I have my paycheck. It was like, no, like this is working. Like this has to work.
Exactly. And when you put yourself in the frame of mind of like failure, not that failure is not an option, legitimate failure and quitting doesn't exist, that's when you'll have a real business, and that's when you'll start to see success. All right, let's wrap this up because I know you got to go. But I'm going to wrap this up on a Tim Ferriss question that I like to wrap these up on. I know you like some Tim Ferriss stuff. If you could have a billboard and place it anywhere on a highway, what would that billboard say?
If I could have a billboard and put it on a highway, what would I make it say? Wow. That's there's a lot of options here. I would, the thing that comes to mind right now is embrace failure. So know that like you are going to fail. And if you embrace that and you learn from those failures, then you actually never lose. And like, if you go into your situation preparing to get smacked around and you're okay with that, then you're only going to become even stronger from those. But if you go into the mind of like, you only want to succeed, you only want the easy times, you're only seeking pleasure, you're going to be in for a difficult ride.
Love it. I think that's
how would you answer it?
Oh man, I had a good one before, but I think what's coming to mind right now would be just take action.
Take action. It's a good one.
It's like whatever you're doing, just take action on it. If you're thinking about it, do it. Act. Don't
Yeah.
wait, don't think, do.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's wrap it up with that. Thanks for hopping on, man. I'll hop in your Facebook group sometime too.
This was excellent chat, Brad. I'm sure I'll be seeing you soon.
All right, talk to you soon, brother. Peace.
See you, everybody.